Hare Krishna. Jai. So we are going to continue hearing about this beautiful bhajan that we sing every morning by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vibhavari Sesa. Why do we practice such a rigorous spiritual sadhana, spiritual practice? Why? You could say, what's the need? Get up in the morning, sing prayers, do arati, chant japa, have morning class, chant Harinam, do service, evening program. What's the need? We should just relax. No need program. We can just go out and work and be able to maintain ourselves. This is good. Why is spiritual life so much effort? Why do we need to make effort in spiritual life? We should just believe in God and try to love God and be good to each other and not hurt each other. It's good, yes? Many animals also are nice, kind, they don't hurt each other, they take care of their families, they reproduce, they provide shelter to their families, they live a very moral life. But they don't achieve liberation, they don't leave samsara and achieve their spiritual nature. We are conscious beings, and we are bound in matter, and we are suffering in the threefold miseries of life, and we are in the wheel of samsara, on the machine of material nature, yantra rudrani maya, undergoing the pains of birth, death, old age, and disease. So we should understand and remember the situation we are in, and if we can follow spiritual life with that understanding that this human form of life, when we are inclined to the performance of dharma, that's such a rare opportunity. Many human beings have no inclination to practice dharma, but we are also here with the inclination to practice dharma. Yes? Otherwise we wouldn't be here every day hearing, chanting, remembering, doing the program. So we shouldn't be thinking that, oh, why is it so difficult? We should think that we have the greatest opportunity. We are here in the human form of life with an inclination to practice dharma, which means that we can take advantage of this human form of life to achieve liberation and the eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna in a transcendental body. Back home, back to Godhead. So therefore, this is something worthy of giving our life to, offering our life in this pursuit. Otherwise, we can live like animals, which is what most people are doing. Why? Trying to maintain our life, trying to get food and shelter, trying to get some status and happiness through that, and pleasure. This is the general pursuit of existence for human beings and animals. What differentiates us is that human beings have higher reason and capacity to realize our true nature as conscious beings, not bound by matter, but existing in the conscious reality, not the material reality. And we can achieve that even in our human form of life by the state that is called Jivan Mukta, being liberated even in this own body, by the performance of Bhakti Yoga. So therefore, we give our energy to this, a few hours every day, and then we go through the natural course of life, which is necessary to maintain our own lives and help serve and maintain others. So therefore, this is a very important part of our spiritual life, because material energy is very strong, and so to help buttress us, protect us from the onslaught of the material energy, we have to focus our consciousness in Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness, and we have to remind ourselves of the situation we are in, and also the situation that others are in. You can look around you at animals that are always in fear and anxiety and stress, and we don't have to be like that. We have a nice, peaceful situation. We have to maintain it, but this is why we practice spiritual life. It's very important because this can remove all the layers of false ego, false identification with this body as the self, as the supreme self, and help us realize our true nature. So, Vibhavari Sesa aloka pravesha nidra chari uto jiva. This is why we have to give up sleep and wake up. Aloka pravesha. When that light of dawn comes in spiritual life, that means through the mercy of Guru and Krishna and our own desire, inquisitiveness. Consciousness is the light. Consciousness is described to be light. Why? Because it's of the nature of awareness. In darkness, you're an illusion. In light, you can see, you can perceive, you have awareness. So when spiritual consciousness starts to dawn, then we practice bhakti yoga, we come into the presence of bona fide Guru and spiritual association, and then we can advance in our life. So this is the first 4 verses we have covered. Now we'll go to verse 5. The beauty of our process is it is also very sweet, very beautiful. Many processes are very difficult, but for those who desire a relationship with Sri Krishna in his realm of Vrindavan, the process is also very sweet. So there's nothing to lament about. The process is very sweet, and as we develop in bhakti, it becomes sweeter and sweeter. It said, spiritual life may seem bitter in the beginning, but it is nectar throughout. You cannot recognize it as nectar, but in the end, you'll recognize that it is nectar. And material life, there is some pleasure, but it is bitterness throughout and bitterness at the end. So therefore, this song is very beautiful, and we simply follow the process of bhakti, and we can advance in our spiritual life, but we should remember that why we are here, and we have this inclination to practice dharma, so we should not waste our life. We are so close to the goal of all living entities. We are so close to the goal, practicing dharma very nicely, so we should take advantage of this situation to achieve transcendental position. Yogindra Bandana Shri Nanda Nandana Braja Jana Bhayahari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari. Yogindra Bandana. So he is the object of the yogi's worship. There's a beautiful verse, Shrutim apare shmritimitare bharatamanye, that many people worship the Shrutis to be free of fear. Many people worship and follow the Mahabharata and other scriptures. Bhavantam bhayabhisha. But I, yasyamaham bande, I worship who? Nanda Maharaj. Because in his courtyard, the Supreme Personality, Advaya Gyan Paratattva, the Absolute Truth, is playing like a little boy, rolling in the dust. So Yogindra Bandana, Shri Nanda Nandana. That personality who is the object of the prayers of the yogis, they meditate on the Absolute Truth for 10,000 years as Paramatma, the Supersoul, and still they cannot completely realize him in the heart or have a sambandha, connection with him. But that Lord is Nanda Nandana, the son of Maharaj Nanda, and he is rolling in the courtyard of Nanda Baba covered in dust. So this is because of the love of the Brijabasis, the love of Nanda Baba. This has attracted Krishna's heart, yes, and so he is simply playing in the courtyard of Nanda Baba. So that yogi Paramatma, that Paramatma who is the object of the yogi's meditation, it was very difficult to realize. He is very easy to realize in Vrindavan. And if you desire that relationship and you approach him in that way, then he is very easy to achieve. Braja Jana Bhaya Hari. So he removes all the fear of the Brijabasis. So those who are worshipping these different sastras and following different spiritual sadhanas to be free of fear with great difficulty, they may become free of fear by all these different processes. There's so many different kinds of fear in life. Fear of lack of success, fear of not achieving something, fear of suffering, fear of not having any meaning or purpose, fear of the afterlife, fear of no afterlife. So many kinds of fear. Fear of torture, pain, suffering, fear of war, fear of disease. And so people do different kinds of processes to be free of fear. But for the Brijabasis, who are in the shelter of Shri Nanda Nandana Krishna, there's no fear, it's very easily taken away. Braja Jana Bhaya Hari. Even so many great demons come to Vrindavan and Krishna very easily vanquishes them. Very easily. And this becomes his lila, becomes very sweet. Kaliya lila, becomes a lila, which means a divine, dramatic act. Very beautiful, sweet pastime. So it's beautiful. Their fear is removed by Krishna. They have nothing to fear. Even sometimes they put themselves in difficult situations, like the cowherd boys entered into the mouth of Aghasura. Even then they had nothing to fear. Aghasura was a great poisonous, the breath of his air would kill you. It was massive, miles long. And all the cowherd boys entered his mouth. And then Krishna thought, oh, my devotees are going there, I will go and protect them. At the time of Kali Lila, when the cowherd boys came by the river Jamuna and lost their senses, Krishna came and protected them and revived them. So there's no fear for those who are in Krishna consciousness. Fear personified runs away in fear, simply by chanting the Lord's names. So therefore, in the morning when we arise, Bolo Hari Hari, we chant the names of Sri Krishna, and fear is dispelled. Navina Niradharupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari. Navina Nirada. He is very beautiful, like a darkish rain cloud full of mercy. This Sham Varna, the color of Sham is the color of Shringar Rasa, which means this amorous love of the Brijavasi, the Brajagopis. You understand? What does the Sham Varna represent? Shringar Rasa. Shringar Rasa means this beautiful, decorative, Shringar means decoration also, but it's very beautiful, that's what it means. A very beautiful mellow of divine amour or love. And that is that color of the beautiful Sham rain cloud in the monsoon season, like a bluish complexion. That is Shringar Ras color. So in Vrindavan, all the rasas are in support of Shringar Rasa. Shringar Rasa is the Adi Rasa, the original mellow. And the love of Shri Radha and Krishna, that is the original mellow. Vrindavan is just for Sri Krishna, his enjoyment, manifested by Srimati Radhika for his pleasure. And all the rasas are there in support of that. And we are also invited to be there and also relish that highest experience of divine love with Sri Krishna. Therefore, you can go to many other planetary systems. You can become king of the world, king of heaven, king of the universe, Lord Brahma. You can have your own Vaikuntha planet. You can be like Lord Narayan. You can merge into the absolute truth, in the Brahma Jyoti, the divine light. All those attainments are possible. But none of them can compare with being in Vrindavan with Sri Krishna, because that is where he himself is present to be fully absorbed in his loving play with his devotees. So nothing can compare to that, because the Supreme Lord himself, he is giving all these other positions. You want it, take it, take it, take it. But if you want to be with me, then you can also achieve that position. But that is like his own exclusive place. Meaning it's the most beautiful, the most sweet, the most enchanting. If you were God, the God of all gods, you create your own transcendental abode where you can experience pure love and relationship and service and sweetness with your own eternal beloveds and associates. So that is the highest attainment, and it's not easily given. Bhukti mukti diya jan palaya, Krishna bhakti naden rakena lukaya. Krishna will easily give you sense gratification or liberation if you want it. You want liberation, take. You want sense gratification, take. But my own relationship, my own bhakti, my own abode, you need to practice sadhana to purify your consciousness, to be present there in your pure state. So Navina Nirada, but all of Vrindavan is there in support of Shringar Ras and the service of the divine couple and their love. Rupa Manohara, that form bewilders and attracts the hearts of everyone. Manohara means to be extremely beautiful, extremely charming. That form of Sri Krishna, it's said that if you once see that form of Sri Krishna, then you lose all desire for all kinds of enjoyment in this world. Not that, oh, you lose taste for anything here because there's some form of bitterness. No, the beauty of Krishna is so sweet, so powerful, that all taste for this world immediately vanishes. So we pray though, Sangsara basana mor kabe tu chahabe, how can our material desires become insignificant? Bishaya chadiya kabe shuddha habe man, how can we lose desire for enjoying the object of the senses and have a purified mind, Kabe Hama Herabo, then we can see Sri Vrindavan and the beauty of Krishna. Mohana Bang Sibi Hari, when is he the most attractive? When he is playing on his flute. Bang Sibi Hari, that form is Mohan. Bewilders even Cupid, Madan Mohan. Cupid, the personification of love, is bewildered himself by the charm and the beauty of Sri Krishna and his sweetness, especially when he's playing his flute. No other incarnations are so sweet and so beautiful, and no one plays the flute like Sri Krishna. We never hear anyone as Vaman Dev, Narasimha Dev, but as Krishna, he is playing the flute and he expands into these other incarnations. So Krishna is the most beautiful, especially when he is playing on his flute. So this fifth verse, Yogindra Bandhana, Shri Nanda Nandana, Braja Jana Bhaya Hari. He is the object of the meditation and the prayers of the yogis. And for Nanda Baba, he is simply his son. There's no need for any austerity or meditation. He is simply the son of Maharaj Nanda. And for the Brajbasis, there's no need to worry about fear. It is automatically removed. He is very beautiful, like a fresh rain cloud, and he is playing on his flute. Bangsi Bihari. So we'll do the next verse. Jashodanandhana Kamsani Shudhana Nikunjara Sabilasi Kadambakanana Rasaparayana Brindabipina Nivasi. So you can see in these songs, primarily we're going through Vatsalya Ras and Madhurya Ras. We see again and again Yashoda Nandana, Nandanandana, Jashoda Dulala, Dasarati Ram, Brajendra Nandana. So twice he's referred to as the son of Maharaj Nanda, and twice as the son of Mother Yashoda, and also the son of Dasarath, and then how he's different incarnations. It's interesting if you look at the incarnations mentioned, Nrsimhadev, Vaman, these two very important, and Lord Ram. Vaman is very important because we surrender to Vamandev. Our Sika is symbolic of Vamandev, where he places his foot. So we offer ourselves to that Lord and pray that everything that we are attached to in this world becomes surrendered to him. Like Balimar surrendered everything to Vamandev, the lower planetary systems, the upper planetary systems, this world, everything he had achieved sovereignty over, but he offered it all to Krishna, and then he offered himself to Krishna. So therefore we remember Vaman, and the Nrsimhadev, who removes all obstacles in the path of our bhakti. Putana, who all kinds of deceit and hypocrisy and cheating mentality and false ideologies is removed. Kaita Bashatana means all kinds of deceit and hypocrisy. Murari, all kinds of ignorance. All these demons also need to be removed for us to understand Braj. These demons all represent our own anartas. Mura, ignorance, that demon. Then Hiranyakashipu, that anarta in our heart, desire for opulence, desire for luxury, desire for enjoyment of others' property by controlling others, enjoyment of this world, doing false austerities for material advancement of our material situation, that anarta should be removed. The anarta of Bali Maharaj, which is to control and conquer everyone, that anarta should be removed. All these anartas should be removed. Putana means the anarta of the false guru in our own mind, following our own mind, thinking whatever I think in my mind, that is bona fide. Giving up that anarta, giving up false ideologies, all these things have to be removed, and then all the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes can be realized. Yashoda Dulala and all these different songs, all these different verses can be realized. But first, these two verses are very important. You see the first two verses, all these anartas are being removed by these different verses. So now we're coming into the sixth verse, which is Ras Leela begins. That Krishna is the darling son of Mother Yashoda, the heroic killer of Kamsa, the performer of nectarian pastimes in the pleasure groves of Braj, the enjoyer of the rasa dance in the arena of the Kadamba forest, the resident of Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan. There are 12 forests in Vrindavan. So Krishna in the evening time, Mother Yashoda, after watching varieties of performances and having their dinner, different musical performances, theatrical performances, different kinds of katha, then Krishna begins to yawn and he says, I'm very tired. And And so Mother Yashoda brings him. To Mother Yashoda, Krishna is always Gopal, very young boy. She always sees him like that. It's described that when he comes back from the pasturing grounds, he's Kishore, but as he approaches Mother Yashoda, she sees him as baby Gopal, very young. And so Mother Yashoda puts Krishna to rest, and she thinks, oh, he's very sweet, very innocent, but I don't know why he's always so tired. In the morning he's very tired, in the evening he's very tired. He's working hard all day in the fields, taking care of the cows. This is part of the reason? No. Krishna is exhausted because this is his own, he is the Supreme Lord, he has no question of exhaustion. And he is, as Krishna, he doesn't sleep. Therefore, as Lord Vishnu, he takes a lot of rest. That's why Lord Vishnu is always Sayan. Because Lord Krishna has no time to rest. He is Leela Purushottam, always performing pastimes. Lord Vishnu is Sayan. He is resting and doing yoga nidra, meditating on Krishna's pastimes. He's samadhi. Lord Vishnu is in samadhi. If you go to South India, many places he's resting. Lord Jagannath is always eating. He's the Lord who's eating. In South India, Lord Vishnu is resting. But in North India, Krishna is performing Leela as Lord Ram and as Lord Krishna, other avatars, especially Lord Ram and Krishna. So Krishna has no time to rest, but he's not tired because he hasn't slept. He's showing this so that Mother Yashoda thinks, oh, he's very tired, let him take rest very quickly. And so she closes the curtains, tiptoes out of the room, and Krishna immediately falls in bed and falls asleep. Is he asleep? Krishna's sleeping? No. As soon as Mother Yashoda leaves, he waits, he checks. Then he gets up, puts his pillow under his blankets, right? Sometimes, like when the gopis go to Ras Leela, if the parents check, Yogamaya will arrange some form that looks like the gopis, or she will make the elders who are checking not understand, or she will give them this Yogamaya, which means the capacity to be bewildered by the spiritual energy of the Lord. So she won't see any gopis are gone or Krishna is gone. If the parents come and check, oh, they're there in their bed. They open the door, oh, they're there. So Krishna makes some arrangement like that, and he doesn't go out the main door. He has his back exit window. And so Krishna climbs out his window and then enters into the forest. Yashoda Nandana Kamsa Nishudana. Krishna kills Kamsa. It's a very interesting Leela, Kamsa Maharaj. So many interesting parts there. We won't get into the details of this, but there's a beautiful verse we also sing as part of the Mangala Bachanam, which is Kamsa, right? Kalola, that he is Kalindi Kalola. He's playing in the rivers of the Jamuna, and he is like a lion that playfully and easily dispatches of the demonic king Kamsa. So here, Kamsa Nishudana. This is also connected to the point that after Ras Leela, sometime after Ras Leela, he went to Mathura and killed Kamsa. So this is also very painful for the Brijabasis. They are not afraid of any demon in Vrindavan. They're only afraid of the separation from Krishna. So Kamsa Nishudana, to hear the name Kamsa in Vrindavan, or to hear the name Akrura, these are like bad words in Vrindavan. Don't speak of Kamsa, don't speak of Akrura. Why? Because Krishna goes to Mathura and then he gets kidnapped by the Jadavas. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur first says Kamsa and then immediately goes into Ras Leela, not the other way around. First Ras Leela, then Kamsa, then the devotees will be worried. But first Kamsa, then Ras Leela. Why? Because Krishna is always in Vrindavan, he never leaves Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam na gacchati. And the Shastra said Krishna never leaves a foot out of Vrindavan. These are other expansions of Krishna, Dwarkadish, Mathuradish, but Krishna is always in Vrindavan. So even when Krishna was far away, he would send messages, and then later when he met Srimati Radhika, he said, I was always there. Every night you would have a vision of me, that I was performing Ras with you, that I was meeting with you. That was not just a vision, that was reality. So Krishna is always in Vrindavan, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna is always in Vrindavan. There's the manifest and unmanifest Vrindavan. Manifest in this world, Krishna left to Mathura for 100 years, but in the Prakrit, eternal Vrindavan, Krishna never left for a moment. And even in this manifest Vrindavan, Krishna was always there, but in an unmanifest manner. That's why when Uddhava came to Vrindavan, he saw it. At one moment, it was like everything was going on as normal. Krishna was taking the cows to pasture and coming home. All the Brija Gopis were meeting with Krishna. His parents were meeting with Krishna. He was never gone. And then he saw it changed, and he saw the kitchens were full of cobwebs. Everyone was full of pain. The trees had lost their leaves. The cows were very skinny, were not giving milk or grazing. The cowherd boys were in lamentation. The gopis were also in lamentation. We think, why should we have to experience this separation? This separation is a great teaching for us because it teaches us the value of meeting, and it teaches us how we can give up all attachment to this world aside from Sri Krishna. Because otherwise, if there wasn't separation, we'd think, this world is good, Krishna consciousness is good, I'll be happy in this world, everything will be good in this world, and also worship God a little bit. Then we can go on like this for many lifetimes. Unless we have deep desire and powerful desire to be with Krishna, then consciousness will remain attached to matter. Our consciousness is habituated to attachment to matter. In our material bodies and our lives, and so long we've been attached. So how can we give up that attachment? The sweetness of Krishna has to attract our heart. The sweetness and the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas attracts our heart, and then we feel separation in their absence, and that separation becomes like a fire that burns away all our remaining anarthas, anything that's holding us back, and then we can go to Vrindavan. So separation is very important. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is thinking, Jashodanandana Kamsani Shudana, then we can talk about Ras Leela. He doesn't mention Kamsani Shudana in the 8th verse or in the 7th verse, before Ras Leela begins. But it's at that area because after Ras Leela, Krishna went to Mathura after some time. So Kamsani Shudana, then Nikunja Rasa Bilasi. He is performing Ras. What is Ras? This is its own discussion. Maybe we continue in the evening. We've talked about this before. Ras is its own topic. But Ras isn't just dancing and playing. Ras means all varieties of Madhurya Ras and loving exchange in that rasa. But he is Vilasi. Vilasi means to always be enjoying his nectarian pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. Nikunja. There's Kunj, Nikunj, and Nibrita Nikunj. Kunj means the cowherd boys, some Priya Narmasakas may also be there, different associates may be there. Nikunja is more intimate, Sakis may be there. Nibrita Nikunj, when Srimati Radhika and Madhav are playing their pastimes, then only the manjaris can be present. In Nibrita Nikunj, that most confidential grove, even Lalita Vishaka will, during different pastimes they may be there, but in some pastimes they will also not be there. So Nikunja Rasa Bilasi. Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana. So Krishna is Parayana. Parayana means completely absorbed. Krishna is completely absorbed in his Ras pastimes. There's no time to worry about other things. So we also pray to Krishna to be completely absorbed in our spiritual life, and then all of our activities will become favorable and can be dovetailed into our practice. That's why Swami Prabhupada arranged temple life, because all activities could be dovetailed into devotional service in Krishna consciousness. And then no matter what we are doing, we can focus on Krishna. And Gurudev said, after Swami Prabhupada left, why did you become weak? Because you stopped following the process in good association, you became weak. So we see if we leave good association, the material energy very quickly starts to cover over our spiritual intelligence, and we again become materially infatuated with worldly affairs. So therefore Krishna is Rasa Parayana, completely absorbed. Vrinda Vipina Nivasi. He resides in the 12 forests of Vrindavan, where Srimati Brinda Devi is always arranging the pastimes. Brinda Devi is specifically arranging the pastimes of Radha Krishna with the Brija Gopis. Yogamaya Purnamasi is arranging all of Krishna's pastimes. But Brinda Devi is specifically arranging the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Nikunj. This is the difference. So Vrinda Devi is also part of Yogamaya, and Yogamaya is also part of Brinda Devi, but Brinda Devi specifically is arranging these Ras pastimes. Okay, next verse. So we can do that 6-1 one more time, okay? Jashoda Nandana Kamsa Nikunudhana Nikunja Rasa Vilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Brinda Vipina Nivasi. And then Ananda Bardhana Premaniketana Phula Sarajojaka Kama Gopangana Gana Chitta Vinodhana Samasta Guna Gana Dhama. Ananda Vardhana Premaniketana Phula Sarajojaka Kam. So this is continuing the rasa topic. This verse and the next verse, these last three verses are focusing on ras. Yashodanandana, Kamsani, Shudana, and then from that point on, it's only Madhurya. If you look in the earlier stage, different avatars, Vira ras, chivalry, heroic, defeating the demons, Putanagatana, Kaitabashatana, Dasarati Ram, Lord Ram who saved Sita and who performed his heroic pastimes, established all Maryada, rules and regulation, proper conduct, Jashoda Dulala, all these different pastimes, Ravanantakara, Makanataskara, even stealing butter. This is mostly Vatsalya ras and some Madhurya ras, but more Vatsalya ras. Gopi Janavastra Hari, this is Purva Rag, before meeting, and Krishna is accepting them. Brajada Rakala, protecting the Brajavasis, protecting the Gopas, stealing the heart by playing the flute. This is also Purva Rag, before meeting. So most of these pastimes are here before meeting. He is dear to the gopis, dear to Srimati Radhika, but mostly this is before meeting pastimes. Yogindra Vandana Nandanandana Brajajana Bhaya Hari. Then from verse 5 begins to get focused. Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vangsi Bihari. This is the setting. Verse 5 is the setting for Ras Leela. Why? That beautiful Sham Krishna, attracting the minds of all living entities. Mohana Vangsi Bihari begins to play his flute and call all the Brija Gopis. We hear this bhajan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Emona Shamoy Murali Raghan Vashibe Dhasi Kane Anande Matibo Shakala Bulibho Shri Krishna Vangsi Raghane. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is meditating on doing bhajan, Swananda Sukara Kunj, very seriously doing bhajan, and praying, when will that time come when I will hear the sound of Krishna's flute enter into the ear of this maidservant? So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur hears the sound of Krishna's flute, what is he thinking? He is Tat Bhavit Shamai, completely dedicated to the service of Srimati Radhika, relishing that love she experiences with Krishna, which is so much greater than one's own individual potential experience with Krishna. That's why this is the highest attainment, not because it's what we're supposed to do. Again, this is nothing that is, it's not like Krishna is trying to give this away. This is very hidden, very secret. Mahaprabhu is the hidden avatar, and he's giving this, and most people who follow Mahaprabhu don't even discuss this point. So it's very hidden. It's the most hidden of all hidden treasures. And people think, oh, who wants to become a manjari? Become a maidservant. Even these words are used to bewilder those who are not properly ready for this rasa. Maidservant. All these words are used to, people think, oh, I don't want to be a servant. I don't want to be das. But in Vrindavan, no one is das. Das is the natural, everyone is das. Krishna is also das, but that is not their mood. Srimati Radhika does not say, you are my dasi, and order them around. Her mood is, you are like my own limb. You're not separate from me, like my hand. Radhika is doing something through Rupa Manjari, it's like her own hand is doing something. She doesn't think of Rupa Manjari as anyone separate, but yet she is individual and she is experiencing all that pleasure of Srimati Radhika through her expression of varieties of loving engagement with Sri Krishna. So all that ecstasy that Srimati Radhika is experiencing, the Manjaris are so close to her, so intimate in their meditation on her service and her connection, that they experience everything. So much so that even the symbols of Radhika's meeting with Krishna will appear on their own bodies. That's how much they're parayan, absorbed in her. So what can be that pleasure? The pleasure experienced by Srimati Radhika in her meeting with Krishna. Krishna says it's millions of times greater than my own happiness. Therefore I came as Mahaprabhu to relish that sukh of myself through you. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisova Vanayeva Swadyo Yenad Bhuta Madhurima, to relish his own sweetness and beauty that he cannot relish as himself. So he comes in the mood of Srimati Radhika to understand and relish that beauty and sweetness that only she can relish. So the manjaris are always relishing that. Krishna comes as Mahaprabhu to relish that. But the manjaris are constantly able to relish the supreme beauty of Krishna because they're absorbed in Srimati Radhika. So we should not think that you do not relish love for Krishna or experience love for Krishna. As the maidservants and manjaris of Srimati Radhika, your love for Krishna is permeating every pore of your being, and every part of your consciousness is permeated with Krishna Prem, pure love for Krishna. That Krishna Prem experienced by the manjaris is higher Krishna Prem than any other rasa, because it is a reflection of that love of Srimati Radhika. And who has more love for Krishna? She is the personification of love for Krishna. All other rasas are coming from ultimately her love, expansions of her love. She is Swarup Shakti, expanding in varieties of ways to please Sri Krishna. So as the maidservant of Srimati Radhika, that experience, along with your own individual sthayi bhav, your mood, your intrinsic characteristics, all of those things together, along with her mood, that is unparalleled. But we should not think that they do not have love for Krishna or do not experience love for Krishna. It's that their experience of the love of Krishna and the relationship of Krishna with Srimati Radhika is so great, so overpowering, that in Vilakus Manjali it's described that Krishna wanted to meet with the manjaris and say, this is very low class compared to the experience that we have when you're meeting with Srimati Radhika. They have no interest. One time Srimati Radhika was trying to send them to Krishna. He said, no, Srimati Radhika, that pleasure we have when you're meeting with Krishna cannot compare to directly meeting with Krishna. Sometimes Krishna will want to directly meet, and Srimati Radhika may arrange, but even in that mood, they'll still not have that desire. Shri Krishna Sangame Kabu Nahi Haritaki. They don't have that mood. They're completely dedicated to the service of Srimati Radhika. So, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur hears that, those who are in the followers of Srimati Radhika, they'll hear her name. Radhe Radhe Boli Muralidha Kibe Madhya Ishwari Nama Suniya Chamaki Utibe Dhasi Kemone Koribe Prana. He immediately arises, hearing Radhe Radhe, and thinks, how can I go and serve my beloved and in their service? And also we are speaking about this. We shouldn't think that the manjaris do not have the opportunity to serve Krishna. Srimati Radhika, their expansions to, she desires everyone, like Guru, may accept some service, but mostly they want you to serve Krishna. Guru may accept a little bit of service. So Srimati Radhika will accept some service, morning time, shringar, bathing, massage, things like that, but mostly she wants you to help serve Krishna in their daily pastimes. So don't think, oh, I will not be with Krishna. No. But with Srimati Radhika, then serving Krishna. That's why in Seva Kunj, they are serving both Radha and Krishna, the divine couple. So now Ras Leela is beginning. Ananda Vardhana, and as Ras goes on, then Ananda Vardhana is always increasing. That blissful experience is ever increasing. In this world, happiness is up and down, always. It's not permanent. And it's always generally decreasing from like childhood, and then you think like there's the romantic love, Romeo and Juliet love. And we think, oh, I'll get married and have that same happiness. It's not possible. That happiness you get in those early stages of divine love before marriage, that's why Parakya Rasa is superior, because it's more pleasurable. So Krishna is always relishing that Parakya Rasa. He is Nitya Kishore, eternally youthful. Kishore Kishori. Gurudev said, my favorite word, he said, what are your favorite names? Someone asked him. He said, Kishore Kishori, Kishori. To be eternally youthful. That is the nature of the soul, and yet we're becoming old and tired because of our material predicament. This consciousness doesn't want to be old and tired, but because we're attached to matter and its degrading tendencies, then we become old and tired. But we always want to be Kishore Kishori, and that is always increasing. Ananda Vardhana is always increasing. We shouldn't think that it's like Ras Leela or these pastimes ever get old. It's always eternally fresh, and there's unlimited varieties. So we are able to hear some pastimes, but we should not think that's the limit of Krishna's Leela. Krishna Leela is start, middle, finished. This is it. There's no amount of books that can contain all of Krishna's pastimes. There's no amount of books that can contain all of Krishna's glory. So people say, Hare Krishnas, you have too many books. Too many books. I cannot read all these books. But you have no problem being absorbed in material sound vibration day and night. So we say, okay, if you don't have time to read, then you should hear. Everyone has time to hear. So we'll try to finish this verse. Or really, we should give a whole class in this verse. But we can do a quick overview. Ananda Bardhana Prema Niketana. Niketana means the abode. Prem Niketana. So who is the abode of Prem? Krishna is the abode of Prem, and the gopis are the abode of Prem. And Guru and Vaishnavas are the abode of Bhakti Ras, and this same Prem. Phula Sara Jo Jakakam. Krishna is the transcendental Cupid who aims his flower arrows. This is referring to Kam Gayatri. Krishna is shooting these flower arrows, and Srimati Radhika is also shooting these with her sidelong glance. So this is referring to both. The sidelong glances of the Brija Gopis at Krishna and his flower arrows at them. This is in the Jaiva Dharma, in the later chapters, it is described that each of these, especially when the sadhaka, the practitioner, goes up to the highest state of spiritual development, when they are approaching bhav dasa, ecstatic emotion, and then Swarup Siddhi, perfection of the realized spiritual form, and then Vastu Siddhi. Then in that time, when they achieve that spiritual body, Swarup Siddhi means the internal realized state of the spiritual body, and then Vastu Siddhi, you actually appear and manifest Vrindavan, you have that body, then the 5 arrows, this means the 5 arrows is how Krishna appears to each one of your senses. First, by sound, you hear Krishna. So this is 1 arrow. And gradually, one by one, the scent of Sri Krishna, you smell the fragrance of Krishna. The 4 Kumaras, smelling the fragrance of Krishna, they become bewildered and lost all taste for the bliss of impersonal realization. So that bliss of Brahmananda, which is very blissful, amazing. Brahmananda is infinite bliss, because the Brahman is infinite. Jarananda is very temporary material happiness. Swargananda, heavenly pleasures, is much greater. But Brahmananda, that bliss, which is infinite bliss, that was tucha, insignificant. Moksha laguta krit, one of the stages of bhakti. The symptoms of bhakti is that moksha seems very light, lagu. Insignificant. For the 4 Kumaras, they simply smelled the fragrance of the tulsi offered to the lotus feet of Lord Narayan and became bewildered and lost all taste for the impersonal infinite bliss and immediately went to Vaikuntha. So what to speak of the beauty of Krishna and the fragrance of Krishna and that musk. Krishna is called Karapura Tilakam Lalata Patale Vakshastale Kostubham Nasagre Varamoktikam. So Krishna is Karpura Tilakam. He is wearing musk tilak and sandal. And the fragrance of Krishna, that is one of those flower arrows. The fragrance of Krishna. The beautiful fragrance of Krishna. And that completely bewilders the heart. Then, what is next? Sound, fragrance. And then one by one, more and more. Sight. You see Krishna. Therefore, Gurudev would say, Bandhu sange jadi tava ranga parihas thake abhilas Bandhu sange jadi tava ranga parihas. If you want to enjoy in this world with your friends and play, parihas, don't go to see Krishna. If you see Krishna, then everything is lost, all material desires. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Ami gare na jaibho, vane praveshivo, olila raseratare, tajikula laj bhaja brajaraj, binoda minati kore. Seeing that Krishna, I will not go home. Why? Krishna keli sudha prashravana. Krishna's loving pastimes are a waterfall of nectar. A waterfall of nectar. Constantly flowing, cascading upon into our consciousness. And so therefore, seeing Sri Krishna, we lose all taste for samsara. Then we can become real sannyasi, like the Brija Gopis. Mukunda sevan brata koilan nirdharan. We take a vow to serve Sri Krishna to achieve this ras. Therefore we pray, Prema dhana vina vyarta daridra jivan das kuribetan more deha prema dhan. Who is the abode of that prem? O Krishna, Prem Dhanavina, without that prem, my life is meaningless. I'm a beggar. Vyarta, and my life is passing uselessly, meaninglessly. Therefore, please, Prem Dhanavina, give me that Prem. Das Kori, make me your servant. And Deha Premadhan, give me the jewel of that Prem. So we go to those who are the abodes of Krishna Prem. Phula Sara Jojaka Kam. So the sight of Krishna, the touch of Krishna, the taste of Krishna, this is Madhurya Ras. Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras. Krishna will taste Mother Yashoda's breast, right? Vatsalya Ras. But to taste Krishna, this is Madhurya Ras. So all this Jojaka Kam, these 5 flower arrows, this is experienced by the Braja Gopis in Madhurya Ras. Gopangana Gana Chitta Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dham. Krishna is giving pleasure to the hearts of the gopis, stealing their hearts, and he is the abode of all good qualities. Krishna is the abode of all good qualities. We should not think, Krishna, this is not proper. He is dancing with the wives of other men. No. There is no such thing as the wives of other gopas. They are all Krishna's eternal beloveds, eternal consorts. Through Parakya Ras, he is always experiencing loving pastimes with them. So he is eternally in this mood of Romeo, Juliet. This is a material example, a very low material example, but to give us some idea, this kind of love is always sweet. Married, the mellow of love after some time becomes dry and routine and full of material duties and responsibilities. Do this, do that. It becomes mixed and also becomes not one-pointed. The husband is providing, therefore you're devoted to the husband. But Krishna is not providing the gopis with anything. They are giving him everything. And so this rasa is pure and very sweet. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya cha paritanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo.